This story is from the time of the Civil War, which took place from 1861 to 1865. During this time, Miss Martha ran a school for girls in Virginia. Due to the ongoing conflict, by 1864, many students, teachers, and workers left the area. Now, the school had only 5 students and a teacher named Edwina. One day, an 11-year-old child named Amy was collecting mushrooms in the quiet forest. Suddenly, she saw someone hiding behind a tree. It was John McBurney, a Union Army soldier. When the battle was at its peak, he ran away from his squad to save himself. Even though John was from the enemy side, Amy kindly brought him to her school, where he fell unconscious. The girls began debating over whether they should help this enemy soldier or not, as it could be dangerous for them to help an enemy. Some suggested handing him over to the Confederate Army as a prisoner of war. Miss Martha came up with the idea of hanging a blue cloth outside, which would alert the army that there's a dangerous person inside the school. And soon, the army will take him away. However, Amy argued that they should abide by their Christian duties and aid the injured. After much discussion, she decided to help John and brought him inside. Miss Martha took care of John's injured leg, wrapping it in bandages. She even wiped his body with a wet towel. But the more she gets closed, the harder it gets to control herself. After that, she locked him inside the room. It is decided that they will first help him and then figure out what to do next. John's handsome looks made him the center of attraction among the girls, and they all desired to see him. But Miss Martha doesn't want that since she knows the girls are quite young. It's easy for anyone to manipulate them, and she doesn't want to put them in danger. When the patrolling army passes by their location, Miss Martha goes to greet them but doesn't mention anything about John. Instead, she asked them for some bullets for their protection. The next day, John regains consciousness, and all the girls in the house begin trying to impress him in their own ways. Some bring him gifts, others flaunt their jewelry, and some prepares grand dinner for him. The girls begin to compete with each other for his affection. Later, Miss Martha Wart comes to visit John. Through their conversations, John quickly realizes that Miss Martha Wart is quite strict and makes all the decisions in this house. So, he starts trying to win her heart. Suddenly, a student named Alice comes in to help, but Miss Martha strictly instructs her and the rest of the girls to stay away from that room. She didn't want anyone else near that area besides her. After that, when Miss Edwina, the school teacher, brings some items for him, John makes his moves on her as well. He charms her with his smooth talk, and since she hasn't been around men for a long time, things become easier for him. He knows if he steps outside, the army will going to arrest him, and there will be no chance of survival. So, he plans to deceive them for his own selfish reasons. One night during prayer, Alice lies to everyone and decides to meet John. It's impossible for her to resist the temptation. John is eager to get intimate, but Alice leaves him in the middle and rejoins the prayer. As she knows if Miss Martha finds out about this, she will throw her out. During dinner, all the girls decide to entertain John so he can feel better. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door which frightens everyone. Miss Martha asks her students to remain quiet until she returns. Then, she walks outside and finds that it is patrolling soldiers. She convinces them that everything is fine and they leave without any suspicion. After a few days, John is to help out with the household chores. Seeing his improved health, Miss Martha asked him to leave as soon as possible. But John did not want to go. He asked her if he could stay and work as a gardener because he had no other place to go. However, she rejects his offer and orders him to leave. Now the biggest challenge in front of him is how he can stay in this house. He chose Miss Edwina as his first target. That night, Miss Martha hosts a farewell party for John. Everyone is very happy and dresses up in nice clothes and jewelry to impress him. After dinner, John tells Miss Edwina that he will come to her room at night. But he doesn't show up even after a while. So, she decides to go into his room. There, she sees Alice and John in an awkward position and turns red with anger. He tries to control her, but she pushes him away. By accident, he fell down the stairs and injured his leg severely. Miss Martha tries to save his life, but he lost too much blood. She had only one option to save him, and that was by removing his leg. The next morning, John regains consciousness and realizes he lost his leg. He screams in anger, especially at Miss Martha, claiming she cut off his leg because he did not sleep with her. Edwina tries to explain the situation, but he gets out of control. Later, when he calms down, Alice musters the courage to check on him, but he verbally abuses her and threatens her. As a result, Alice becomes afraid and asks Miss Martha to protect her. In the middle of their discussion, John arrives and shouts at everyone. Miss Martha tells one of her girls to hang a blue cloth on the door so the army could come to help them. Unfortunately, John catches her and threatens everyone at gunpoint, warning that if such a mistake happened again, they would have to pay with their lives. To ease his anger, Mrs. Weena goes into his room and offers herself in exchange for the girl's safety. John becomes like a thorn in everyone's eyes. Miss Martha is thinking about getting out of this situation when one of the students gives her the idea to eliminate him. The plan is to invite him for dinner and poison his favorite mushroom dish. Amy goes to the forest to collect the poisonous mushrooms. At night, everyone gathers for dinner. The problem is, Miss Edwina does not know about it. They offers him his favorite dish, and he serves them to Miss Edwina as well. However, at the last moment, a student interrupts her from eating. As planned, after eating, John passes away in a short time from suffocation. Later, Amy hangs the blue cloth on the door so that the army can take possession of the body when they arrive, and the remaining students wrap John's body in a cloth and leave it outside the door. Throughout this entire time, Miss Edwina appears broken because she thought of having a bright future with John, which is now completely shattered. In simple terms, the word beguile means to deceive or fool someone by displaying charm. This is exactly what we are shown in the movie. Initially, when John is injured, he acts as if he's a charming, innocent individual, and all the girls, showing their decency, take care of him. But then, he slowly starts showing his true colors and takes advantage of their innocence, which later leads to his punishment, even his existence being taken away. On the other hand, we also see from the female point of view. At first, all the girls take advantage of being good. But after some time, the devil within them awakens, turning them into competitors of each other, driven by their passion and greed. And this is how the movie ends. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you have any suggestions for future movies, please leave them in the comments section below. Until next time, take care. Goodbye.